Hey guys, all right, this is take two. This morning I got up and I was walking in the yard, wanted to clear my mind and get some of my thoughts together. So I went back outside and I just wanted to share that with you because it's just the things that I was being reminded of, and I just think it might be an encouragement to you as well. Last night as I was sitting on the couch, I think the reality of the situation just kind of started creeping in, and I started feeling a little bit of fear, just a real sense of heaviness, a little bit of anxiousness. And I just was reminded about some of the things that I've learned in my journey and how I am going to go into this situation and how I'm going to deal with the fear, okay? When I got pregnant with it was my very first pregnancy. I was really excited, but I was really, really nervous. So the first thing I did was I went out to the bookstore and I got the book called What to Expect When You're Expecting. And that book goes over every little thing that you can expect, everything you would possibly think, feel, experience. And so it's just over the top. And I started reading through it, just trying to understand what's happening in my body and what to expect. And all it did was breed a lot of fear in my heart. All it did was put my focus on, I felt like, mostly what could go wrong and just more negative things. And I just kind of decided right then and there, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this. So I closed the book, actually got rid of it. And I just decided that I'm going to have an amazing pregnancy. Here I am, I'm newly pregnant. I don't know what to expect, but I'm going to have a great pregnancy. I'm going to be beautiful. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to be a joy. I'm not going to be a jerk the whole time. I'm not going to be miserable. I just made that decision up front so that when I went through the process, that was just kind of who I was going to be. And, I think that birth is such a big deal. There's nothing more huge and mysterious and beautiful and spiritual and just, it's just so incredible. It's the most incredible experience. But for me, it tested my faith more than anything before. You got this baby growing inside of you and you can't see the baby. You get little glimpses and feelings, but it's just something that's so out of your control, and it can create a lot of fear in that time. And so during my pregnancies, I always have to really work through a lot of building my faith and rejecting the fear. Because I just believe that our bodies know what to do. I believe it's a natural process. But I think that the 9 months is not just for the baby to develop and get ready, but it's for you to get ready mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because if you're prepared, your body knows what to do. Everything's going to happen and nature's going to take its course. So that was just kind of always my experience. But on that vein of thought, just to remind you that this might be a time when you feel a lot of fear want to creep in, or there's this battle of needing to build your faith, but you might need to reject a lot of information. You might need to be really careful about the information that you take in. As the reality starts to set in, be extra careful about the information that you take in. And you might need to just reject some of the things anything that's going to breed fear or negativity in your life, just get rid of it. Just reject it. Don't go there and don't hold on to that. Yes, hypno babies. I never did that. But I did more of the Bradley method type. My husband's not a Bradley method kind of coach guy, but I always read that book, and that was kind of how I coached myself through it. But yes, it is so mental and spiritual with birth. So the point is that just be ready to reject negativity. Anything that's going to breed fear or negativity, get rid of it. But understand too that right now you have a choice to make. You have a choice. We don't know what's going. We don't know what this circumstances in our world and in our society and in our families and in our homes. We don't know what it's going to look like and what we're going to have to go through. But we can choose right now that we're going to choose joy, that we're going to be thankful, that we're going to walk in faith and not in fear, that we're going to look for the good in everything. We can choose those things now. And I think that will make all the difference. If you go to a party and you're on a diet, you can't decide when you're there and somebody puts the cake in front of you whether you're going to eat the cake or not. You've got to decide beforehand if you're going to eat that cake or not, or you're just going to be weak in the moment. And I think right now, as we are just getting into the reality and kind of the intensity of this coronavirus economic crisis that's happening, we have to decide beforehand how we're going to respond and who we're going to become in the process. When I gave birth, it wasn't until my fourth pregnancy that I finally felt like I understood how to walk in peace. That I finally came to like true just peace and grace in my heart with the whole situation. And here's where I came. I felt like the first 3 pregnancies, it was always just me striving to build my faith and just kind of fighting the fear. I felt kind of like I was more wrestling. And in the 4th, 5th pregnancies, I kind of just got to a place of surrender. I just understood, you know what, God? Like, this is all you. This is your work. And I'm just a vessel. And I'm going to trust you to do your part, and I'm going to do my part. And no matter what, you're still good. You give and you take away. I trust that you love this baby more than me, but no matter what, God, you're still good, and that's where I stand, and that's where I draw my line in the sand. And so that was just where I came to be. And when I got to that place of just true, like, surrender, I had such a peace, and I was able to really just walk through those last couple pregnancies in a different place than I had been before, understanding that, you know what, like, God is bigger than all of this. He's bigger and he's over it all. I just need to do my part. And so what we need to be doing right now is we need to do our part. I think that takes a lot of action. Obviously, that takes preparation, but remember that a lot of the preparation, it's not just in what we do, it's who we are in here, who we are in here. And so begin preparing yourself beforehand and begin to make those decisions now, how you're going to go through this time. Because we don't know what those contractions are going to hold. Something big is happening. Something big is being birthed. Our world is changing as we know it. And we don't know what that's going to look like. But those contractions are starting to come. We're starting to feel that movement. Things are heating up. But we just have to decide that we are going to stand in faith. And we're going to be thankful no matter what. And we're going to walk in victory. And we're just going to do our part in that. Yesterday at church was really, really good. The pastor had a sermon. It was titled, "Are you a storm chaser or a storm praiser?" I think is what it is. And it's really true. I'm like, those are the 2 type of people. You're either going this way or going that way with whatever the media tells you and whatever the latest report is, and you're letting your emotions kind of take you here and there. Or you're like, you know what? The storms are going on around me, but I'm going to praise him no matter what. And this is just who I am in the process. So I just want to share with you a couple of the notes that I wrote at church yesterday. I wrote, we may go down, but we'll go down in faith. Well, we don't know what's going to happen, but that is the truth. We're all in this together. No matter what happens, like, let's determine that we're going to go through this in faith. Praise releases our faith. It puts problems into perspective. Don't walk by what you see, but by what he says. God is bigger than all the issues. I wrote, praise is the foundation of strength. Praise is the language of faith. And this was my favorite quote that I wrote yesterday. It's what we do in the fire that determines our future. It's what we do in the fire that determines our future. Does that resonate with any of you guys? I think we're about to walk through some fire. I think things they're heating up. And I think it's what we do now that's going to determine our future. And I think it's really important. It's really important that we step up right now and we get prepared beyond the toilet paper, beyond the rice and beans, that we start to get our hearts and our minds right, because we need to be strong and resilient and full of faith for what is to come. And that's a choice that we need to make, and we need to make that now. We need to make that beforehand. There's no trial that we face that God's not with us. And no matter what, we can have the security that God's with us. And if that's all we have, that's all we need. But the last thing I wrote yesterday was that to rejoice is a choice. And I think that's the point of all of this, is just to say that, from my pregnancies and from my births and from just the experiences in my life where I've had to face fear in such a real way, and unknowns and uncertainties and things I have no control over, but that are so important and so meaningful and impactful for the whole family. I think it's just getting to a place where we decide ahead of time who we're going to become, where we're going to stand. Are we going to be thankful? Are we going to be grateful? Are we going to look for the good in everything? What are we going to do? How are we going to go through this? I think that makes all the difference. I think that if we focus on the good, we will see good. There's a lot of good and a lot of opportunity that's going to come out of this. I feel actually nervous, but I feel excited and encouraged at the same time, because I feel a lot of good in the situation. And I just, no matter what comes, no matter what challenges and tests come, I just want to walk through it in faith and in thankfulness. And I know that that's something where I have to decide that right now. Like, as I prepare, I have to make sure that I'm prepared mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and I have to decide that now for me in my house, for my children, because my attitude, moms, if you guys are home with your kids, your attitude is going to affect the entire family. You know, happy wife, happy life. It's true. You are the thermostat of your home. Choose the temperature, choose the attitude, choose the mentality of how you and your family are going to walk through these times. And I think we have to make those choices now. So that's my encouragement to you guys today. I share this because it's on my heart. I share this to be an encouragement for you. I share this because I'm probably going to need to go back at some point and watch this and remind myself that, hey, wait a minute, it's a choice. Don't let your emotions get the best of you and don't get carried off in the circumstances, you know? But that's where I stand, and I would love to know if you're on the same page. Let's do this together. Let's get through this victorious together. Let's be thankful, and let's be positive, and let's share love and light and good. Be a force for good in the midst of the situation. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. Please share this with anybody that is struggling right now, with anybody that is feeling discouraged or fearful, or that this could be an encouragement too. Hope you guys have an awesome day.